A daughter recently told us something we hear quite often. She said, "Yesterday we talked for almost an hour. Dad was completely clear. We laughed. We talked about old memories. He seemed like himself again." Then she paused and asked, "So how can doctors say he has advanced dementia?" That confusion is incredibly common for families. Dementia doesn't always look the way people expect. Someone may still have moments of clarity, tell stories, or hold a conversation, even while the disease is progressing. Understanding how dementia progresses can help families make sense of those moments and plan for the support their loved one may need.
Hi, I'm John with Oasis Senior Advisors here in Austin and Central Texas. When we meet with families who are concerned about memory changes, we usually start by asking a few simple questions. Things like, what kinds of things is your mom or dad forgetting? Are they still managing medications or bills? Have you noticed changes in safety or judgment? Are they still living independently? Often families pause and realize they're not quite sure how to describe what's happening. To help clinicians understand dementia progression, many use a framework called the Global Deterioration Scale, developed by neurologist Barry Reisberg. This model describes 7 stages of dementia, but for families, it's often easier to think about dementia in 3 broader phases: mild dementia, moderate dementia, advanced dementia. Important disclaimer. Before we walk through the stages, there's something very important families should understand. Every dementia journey is different. 2 people with the same diagnosis can experience very different symptoms, abilities, and timelines. For example, someone with advanced dementia may still be physically active and mobile, while another person may require physical assistance much earlier. Dementia primarily affects memory, judgment, communication, and decision-making, but physical abilities can vary widely. The stages we're discussing today are general clinical guidelines, not exact rules that apply to every person. One thing neurologists often tell families is, if you've met one person with dementia, you've met one person with dementia. In other words, no 2 journeys look exactly the same. A quick note about dementia testing: families also sometimes hear about cognitive tests used in hospitals or rehabilitation settings. 2 common ones are called the BIMS and the MoCA. The BIMS, or Brief Interview for Mental Status, is frequently used in skilled nursing and rehabilitation facilities to evaluate short-term memory and orientation. The MoCA, or Montreal Cognitive Assessment, is a broader screening tool physicians use to evaluate attention, language, memory, and executive functioning. These tests can provide helpful information, but they don't determine a dementia stage on their own. Doctors typically consider test scores, medical history, daily functioning, and caregiver observations together when evaluating dementia. Phase 1. Mild cognitive decline. Stages 1 to 3. This phase often develops gradually, and many people are still living independently. Stage 1. No noticeable cognitive decline. In the earliest stage, there are no obvious symptoms. Memory and thinking are functioning normally. Stage 2. Very mild cognitive decline. Someone may begin noticing small memory lapses like misplacing keys, forgetting names occasionally, walking into a room and forgetting why. Many people experience these changes with normal aging. Stage 3. Mild cognitive decline. This is often when family members begin noticing subtle changes. Examples may include difficulty finding words, trouble concentrating, forgetting recently learned information, getting lost in familiar places. Doctors may begin identifying mild cognitive impairment at this stage. Phase 2. Moderate dementia. Stages 4 to 5. This is often when families begin realizing their loved one may need additional support. Stage 4. Moderate cognitive decline. A formal dementia diagnosis often occurs around this stage. Families may notice difficulty managing finances, trouble planning activities, forgetting personal history, withdrawing from social situations. Daily life becomes more challenging. Stage 5. Moderately severe cognitive decline. At this stage, individuals often need assistance with certain daily tasks. Examples include forgetting their address or phone number, difficulty choosing clothing, trouble remembering important details about their life. Some families also begin noticing changes in sleep patterns or increased confusion later in the day, which can develop into what clinicians call sundowning. This is often when families begin exploring assisted living or memory care communities. Phase 3. Advanced dementia. Stages 6-7. This stage can be especially confusing for families. Dementia does not progress in a straight line. Families often notice good days and bad days. A loved one may seem very clear one day and much more confused the next. Those moments of clarity are real and meaningful, but the overall condition may still require significant support. Stage 6. Severe cognitive decline. At this stage, individuals often require assistance with daily activities such as dressing, bathing, medication management. They may also experience personality changes, difficulty recognizing loved ones, sleep disruption, or wandering. Another behavior families often notice is called sundowning. Sundowning refers to increased confusion, anxiety, or agitation later in the afternoon or evening. Fatigue, overstimulation, or disrupted sleep patterns can sometimes make these symptoms more noticeable. Even in this stage, many individuals remain physically mobile, but they often require supervision for safety. Stage 7. Very severe cognitive decline. In the final stage, individuals require full-time care and support. They may gradually lose the ability to speak clearly, walk independently, swallow safely. Care at this stage focuses primarily on comfort, dignity, and safety. Why understanding the stages matters. Dementia is far more common than many families realize. According to the Alzheimer's Association, more than 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, the most common form of dementia. Globally, the World Health Organization estimates that more than 55 million people live with dementia worldwide. Families across Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, San Marcos, and throughout Central Texas are navigating these same questions every day. Local resources for families. If your family is navigating dementia, there are also local resources that can help. The Alzheimer's Association has a Central Texas chapter that provides caregiver education programs, support groups, and a 24-hour helpline. Families can also connect with the Area Agency on Aging of the Capital Area, which helps older adults and caregivers find local programs, caregiver support, and community resources. These organizations can be valuable partners for families across Austin and the surrounding Central Texas communities. What families can watch. For another reason, understanding the stages of dementia can be helpful is that it allows families to begin paying attention to changes that affect safety and daily living. For example, families often start noticing things like missed medications, unpaid bills or financial mistakes, increased falls or wandering, confusion about time or place, difficulty preparing meals or managing daily routines. When these types of changes begin appearing, it may be a signal that additional support, supervision, or care planning should be considered. Many families tell us they wish they had started those conversations earlier rather than during a crisis, such as a hospitalization or emergency. Taking small steps early can make the transition to additional support much smoother for everyone involved. Understanding the stages of dementia can help families recognize changes earlier and plan thoughtfully for the future. If your family is trying to understand care options like memory care, assisted living, or additional support services, our team at Oasis Senior Advisors here in Central Texas is here to help. And if you know another family navigating dementia, feel free to share this video with them. You are not alone on this journey.